I'm Nick Clark in the Impenetrable forest of Bwindi in Uganda, where these endangered mountain gorillas are making an extraordinary comeback.
And I'm Guillory Darabi in eastern Georgia, where an ambitious plan is underway to save the world's plants.
Hi, I'm Russell Beard and I'm here at the Centre for Alternative Technology in Wales to meet the environmental innovators of the future.
I'm YAARA BOU-MELHEM in Indonesia's South Sulawesi, looking at how the efforts of local people are restoring this mangrove forest.
Deep in Central Africa, in one of the most ancient habitats on the continent, is the last refuge of one of the rarest mammals on Earth, the endangered mountain gorilla. I'm Nick Clark, flying into the Impenetrable forest of Bwindi in Uganda to see how this most threatened species is actually beating the odds and making a comeback. From above, on the fringes of the forest, evidence of how man has stripped the hillsides for cultivation. The mountain gorilla's range is now tightly squeezed into the boundaries of Bwindi National Park and the nearby Virunga Mountain. Good work. You did it. All right, I'm with ASIGARIYO here, who was born in the village just down below. He's a walking safari guide. And you know this forest like nobody else, don't you?
Yes, yes, yes.
And here, right here, we can see 3 countries, can't we?
Yeah, so we are on the edge of the Bwindi forest, which is in Uganda. So here, DRC Congo is in the west, Rwanda in the south, and now the Bwindi forest also in the north. So the mountain gorillas are found here in the Bwindi Impenetrable forest and also in the Virunga mountains.
Okay, and that's the only area in the world.
Yeah, in the whole world, that's where the mountain gorillas are found.
So these are the last remaining outposts.
Yeah, they are the endangered mountain gorillas.
The total population of mountain gorillas on the entire planet decreased staggeringly to just 570 in 1989. A combination of habitat destruction, human disease, and poaching decimated the population. But a unique conservation effort has started to turn things around. Today, there are nearly 800 living in the wild. Surprisingly, for such a sensitive area, tourism has been a key factor. Local communities can now see the benefits of conservation because the gorillas bring thousands of visitors every year.
We are benefiting because of gorillas, because they buy our things, so we are benefiting. We and the gorillas, we are friends.
In fact, around 30,000 of the local villages now benefit from tourism-related work. But this is not the only conservation effort that's helped improve the relationship between local people and gorillas. I've heard about the buffer zone that's been created to tackle the problem of gorillas raiding villagers' crops. Stephen Azuma of the International Gorilla Conservation Programme is the expert. So what have we got there? This is farmland, clearly, forest here.
So clearly across the valley you find the community cultivating right up to the park edge, because they don't have enough land due to the high population. It introduces an element of conflict. When the animals come from the forest, they go to raid the crops, but when they go to raid the crops, the community don't get compensation. And the principle behind the buffer zone is that it has been divided into 2 sections. The inner section is supposed to be managed to provide for the needs of the gorillas. Now, the outer strip is supposed to be unsuitable, harsh, for the animals.
So we can see the line of this hedge going along here. So this is the outer edge of the buffer zone.
That's right. When it's well established and well knitted, if any animal tries to come in, the thorns break. This section where we are, you can see to my right is crop field, which wasn't there before. That's how it works.
Okay.
Yes, please.
It's a good plan.
Thank you.
All right, back up the hill. So, the local community are learning to share their land with the gorillas. But the comeback of these endangered animals is down to more than compromise. gorillas share as much as 98% of their DNA with humans, and it's easy for them to catch many of our diseases, some of which can be life-threatening. Committed doctors and trackers monitor their health around the clock. Augustine, a local villager, is our tracker and guide.
So you can look at the droppings. When you closely observe, you also see the silvery hair.
Just about make it out. Yeah.
So, as his hair.
Yeah. Cheek.
Yeah.
So this is where they were last night, and they've moved on.
Yeah, they moved
Probably
on.
not far away.
Yeah. You tell that they are about 20 meters to reach the gorillas.
20 meters?
Yes. That's a communication. Yeah, those ones, you can see them.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Of the gorillas, there they are. That's incredible. Look at him. It's incredible. This guy is Safari. He's the alpha male. He's the chief. He's the boss, the chief silverback. And you can really see there the silverback of the mature adult. You can really get the aroma, pungent, sweet-smelling aroma, especially the silverbacks. Quite strong. There's a baby in the tree.
So the baby on the tree. So they are my cousins. And it is something magical to have cousins who live in the wild. And now we have also doctors who come for a routine checkup of the health of the family. And that gives us hope that the mountain gorillas will survive.
Dr. Fred is one of the gorilla doctors. All the while, he's been closely monitoring the health of an injured member of the family to see if he requires any further medical treatment.
Chirunji had an injury on the left jaw, which had led to the swelling of the whole face. Daily monitoring by the trackers and myself coming in, we have seen that the swelling has reduced.
Tell me, Dr. Fred,
yes, please,
about the gorilla doctors in terms of how successful the organisation has been and what difference it's made.
It's been shown that actually veterinary medical care interventions have contributed to the increase, the upturn of gorilla population.
How close do you think we are to take the mountain gorilla off the endangered list?
International Gorilla Conservation Program still needs to put in more effort. We are hopeful we can reach to a point where we are conserving for generations.
Another day, and we're in another country. We're in Rwanda because we've heard about this temporary care facility where they've just taken delivery of an orphaned gorilla. So we're going to go and check that out. As well as disease, injury, and population growth, poaching is still a problem across the gorilla range, particularly for babies.
She was taken from an area of Congo called Bukima, which we know is inhabited by mountain gorillas. Poachers there tried to sell her, actually did sell her at the border between Congo and Rwanda. And the Rwandese police arrested the two poachers that bought her. She had a really pretty serious upper respiratory disease when she came to us. The poachers were all sick, and when we confiscated her, they sneezed all over her. But just like you would for any 1.5-year-old child, she was on ibuprofen and antibiotics, and she's doing great. She was very lucky to be confiscated, because I'm convinced she'd be dead if she weren't confiscated.
And so what about the future? What's going to happen to her?
Once we confirm that she's a mountain gorilla, she will be transferred back to Congo, where she's from, and she will learn to be a gorilla with the other 4 mountain gorillas.
You know, it was not so long ago that we might have been talking about the end of the very existence of the mountain gorilla on this planet. But now, thanks to the unique conservation efforts that we've been seeing, that we've been witnessing, the incredible fact is that the mountain gorilla is the only one of the 5 great apes whose numbers are actually increasing.
provide us with the oxygen we breathe, building materials, medicine, and of course food. But roughly a quarter of the world's plant species, between 60,000 and 100,000, may be threatened with extinction. I'm Guillory Darabi in eastern Georgia, where an ambitious plan is underway to save the world's plants.
We are heading now to the eastern part of Georgia from capital Tbilisi, where we will find a very rare endemic of Georgian flora, Kakhetian bellflower, as we call it, and its Latin name is Campanula kakhetica.
The Millennium Seed Bank is the world's largest plant conservation project. Partner organizations from all over the globe collect the seeds of at-risk plants to safeguard them for future generations. Eagles Gorge in the Kakheti region of Georgia, the only place in the world where the bellflower still grows. But despite the long journey, things are not looking good.
In this case, it's very difficult.
Is it most of the fruit that you open up is empty?
That's right.
Where have the seeds gone? Have they dried up?
Yeah, or they might be already disseminated, so we have to find one.
Oh, I think we found one. So this could be the future of the species right here in your hand.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's a very exciting work. It's a botanist work. It's enthusiast work.
It must be really inspiring to know that this seed collecting expedition is taking place all around the world as part of the same project.
We collectively are saving our planet. But that's great feeling that you are part of that global team, working on that.
We all have a bag full of seeds, notebooks full of notes, latitudes, coordinates, back to the laboratory to see if we can make use of any of the seeds we've collected today. But first, I think we're stopping for a drink. Apparently that's the Georgian way.
Come in.
So these are the seeds from yesterday. They've been dried, they've been cleaned, they've been checked under the microscope, and now they're ready to send off to Kew Gardens in London.
Hi, I'm Claire. So this is our seed cleaning lab, and this is where the collections actually come when they very first arrive.
Here are the seeds we packed in Georgia.
That's brilliant, isn't it? So this is a Campanula kakhetica, only found in that tiny bit of Georgia that you went to. Okay, so once the seeds are cleaned, we need to try and work out how many good seeds we have in the collection. And we can do that either through cut testing or X-raying.
This one we've actually got infested larvae inside.
Wow.
We can actually see the maggots themselves.
It's pretty gross, isn't it?
So now we're going to go to the actual bank.
Oh, this is the exciting part.
Yeah. This vault has been built to withstand a nuclear bomb, flooding, and anything else that we might throw at it.
I'm feeling very safe right now. Is the goal for them to stay here forever, or what's the kind of ultimate?
The ultimate goal is not that the seeds just stay here and never get used. The entire purpose of the Millennium Seed Bank project is to conserve seed and make them available to help humankind. This room is at -20 degrees, so we need to put on some protective clothing before we go in here. Let's see how it is. Andrew?
This place really is safe.
Okay, in we go. So we've got over 30,000 species in the cold store, which makes it the most biodiverse place on Earth.
Wow, how often do you get to say that?
And over the next 10 years, we want to bank another 45,000 species. So we'll have a quarter of the world's species in safe storage by the year 2020.
from seed to plant, I guess this is the final journey. This is what we're hoping for.
It's estimated that about 1/3 of all plant species are currently facing extinction, and we can't live without them. We don't know what we're losing, in fact. So for sure this is a safeguard, but we need to be looking after the plants in the wild too.
If we don't, this project, created by the work of thousands of passionate people, could well become the most important bank of all time.
If we're to achieve a cleaner, greener future, then we need the people with the right skills to take us there. That's why I'm here in Wales at the Centre for Alternative Technology, where they're creating the experts that the world needs in order to speed our transition to a low-carbon economy. Okay, so this is one of the ways up to this site. We're on a water-powered cliff railway, so we're already in green territory. Water is channeled into a tank in the top carriage until it's heavy enough to pull the lower carriage up. The brakes are released and gravity does the rest.
CAT is all about teaching people about sustainability, and it's about doing that in a way that lets them experience it in quite a hands-on way. So it's not just about having lectures or reading things, it's about coming here, experiencing the technologies like wind power and solar power, learning how they work, getting some hands-on experience actually with those bits of kit.
CAT is unique in providing intensive practical teaching where students live and work on site, learning the hard science of green living. Okay, so it looks like they're insulating boxes. I'm going to see if they can tell us a little bit more about what they're doing.
So essentially what we're building is 10 tiny little houses, and then we put a heat source in, and then what we're doing is to see how effective thermal masses are regulating temperature.
But before the thermal mass experiment can begin, the model houses need to be insulated to an identical standard.
I think it's really good to get the practical courses in, because here you're actually getting out and doing something, and you're outside and you're kind of active and you're actively learning.
Give me something to do. I'd love to give you a hand. Okay, take it to the box.
Whether it fits.
All right, moment of truth. It has to be snug, otherwise we're in trouble and we've got to get out of here.
If you push it right to the bottom first.
Yeah, quite nervous, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Hey. Hey!
So this is where we grow a lot of the food that the staff eat and the students eat, and that we serve in the restaurant. It has two functions, really, the field. The first one is it provides us with some of our food, with fresh food, but also it's a place where people come and learn about organic growing and learn about how to grow food in a more sustainable way.
I guess it's not the kitchen garden that it appears on the surface. There's something else going on here.
Yes, there's a lot of flowers, aren't there, as you can see.
Yeah.
So we're attracting beneficial insects to help us to get rid of the black fly, the baddies, if you like.
Companion plants can reduce the need for pesticides by attracting insects whose larvae eat the pests. They can also release pest repellents called oleochemicals from their roots or leaves.
So the more beneficial insects in the garden, the healthier the garden.
Wow. Throughout the site are live examples of sustainable solutions with the largest range of installed renewable systems anywhere. And at its heart is the award-winning Welsh Institute of Sustainable Education, a state-of-the-art facility combining environmentally conscious design and sustainable building techniques. So here's our thermal mass workshop. They've got the boxes finished. I think they were as uniform as they were going for.
What we're trying to do is calibrate the boxes that eventually we'll be doing these tests looking at thermal mass.
So could you tell us a little bit about this space?
We're quite proud of this. This is a rammed earth wall. It's thermally massive, which is interesting because this is some of the sort of research that the students are doing. So it acts as a kind of storage heater.
Thermal mass can play an important role in cutting energy use by absorbing heat passively during the day and releasing the thermal energy back during the night when surroundings are cooler.
The aim of the whole sort of building is to have a building that's healthy for the planet and healthy for its occupants as well.
This is all the vegetarian meal that we're getting cut, all grown locally.
What for you makes this place feel special?
There's no competitiveness, you know, you are actually trying to work together to try and achieve your potential, and everybody will actually help you to do that. And that's not just with lecturers, that's with students.
So Alex, would you say this place is unique in Europe?
I would, yeah. We're the only place doing this, really.
Well, fingers crossed we see more like them in the future. Thanks so much for showing us around. It's been a pleasure.
Indonesia once had more than 4 million hectares of mangrove forests. But logging and clearing for aquaculture destroyed more than half of them. We're on our way now to the island of Tanakiki in South Sulawesi, which is just over there. The figures here are worse than the rest of the country, with 70% of its mangrove forest destroyed. But we're about to join a group of villagers to see what they're doing to bring back their mangrove forests.
Yang ada pohon tidak mau diurus.
Benjamin Brown is part of the Mangrove Action Project, a Washington-based NGO.
In a pond, they can't grow because it's underwater all the time. So we want the tide to come in and out so that mangroves get watered, but then they also, the soils are drained and they can grow.
500 hectares of mangroves were cleared here to make way for shrimp ponds, now abandoned. If mangroves are going to reclaim this smelly sludge, the walls of the old ponds must be destroyed.
Jadi kami mau cabut semua ini sekarang dan coba tanam lagi.
The community are also planting mangrove propagules in this controlled site. Later on, they'll be comparing this plot to another one just over there, where hopefully mangroves will grow back naturally.
Manfaatnya ini kalau ini sehat, kayu mangrove-nya sehat, karena menghasilkan banyak ikan, banyak kepiting, banyak udang. Kita di sini kampung tidak ada air naik, tidak ada.
We've travelled to the other side of Sulawesi. This place used to be devoid of wildlife, but this is what almost a decade's difference makes, a thriving mangrove forest. Ben has been invited back by the village of Tiwoho to see how an earlier restoration project has fared.
Bisa dapat kembali untuk kepiting, kemudian biak, bisa dapat di dalam baku ini. Ya, reboisasi mangrove yang ada di Tiwoho ini sangat bagus.
So what did this once look like?
In about 2000 when we came here, this was all just mud in an old abandoned shrimp pond. And we planted a little and then we broke some dike walls in 2002 and it's grown back since. Amazing, about 9 meters tall at its tallest.
A dense forest with all the trimmings.
This place is full of monitor lizards and little tiny tarsius in the mangroves we found, and these things called slow loris, couscous, and just birds, fish, crabs, everything. So it's really too much to count, actually. There's a lot of diversity in here.
So how do you rate the success here?
When your guide's bringing a machete with you through the mangroves, you know you've succeeded in your restoration.
Wow, God, look, there's a rabbit head here. And this is rabbit guts. And they look quite fresh, don't they?
È fresco, è detta mañana.
I mean, this is really exciting because it shows we're on the right track.